2023 marks the 100th anniversary of Disney as a company. A full century of movies, shows, shorts, comics, games, dodged lawsuits, and mountains of controversy. Disney has decided, for this grand celebration, to do something they do already. Celebrate how awesome they are. I've decided to also join in. We're talking about the one branch themselves they don't care about. Also, I guess this is the 40th anniversary of Disney Channel, which was back in like April. I might have had some problems with this video. I've stated a million times. The animated shows of Disney are super special to me. Currently, I think their output on that front is much better than most of their films. And since I talked about my 30 favorite Cartoon Network episodes, I've decided to come in front of you, as the Scrunkly, talk about my 30 favorite Disney show episodes. On some of my most recent Disney videos, I've limited to just Disney Channel, but this will be following the rules of my top 35. All Disney shows are allowed as long as they're done by Disney TVA, not a preschool show, and first aired on TV. And all the while, I'll be doing weird, funny, whimsical stuff now I have these newfound powers thanks to this costume. I can do this! I can do that! I can do this! I can do that! I can do that! I can do I don't have like full power. I had to waste I'm at like 1% right now. Other 99%, I got to finally getting Disney to acknowledge Pete exists. I don't always try to search out a perfect thing to start the list, but I couldn't pick a better start if I tried. The 2013 Mickey Mouse show probably shouldn't count since they're all shorts, but I am the god here! These are all great at just being fun one-off adventures with Mickey and crew. But I really like when they just go freaking insane, and one of the most insane has gotta be Touchdown and Out. It starts off as the main three just playing football, the American version. Don't start with me. But then Sexiness himself comes in and makes them play a game. And the Beagle Boys are here. And also Satan!
The devil!
Yeah, this would have just been a normal episode without him, but the sudden inclusion of Chernabog immediately makes this special. They don't just whip out the Big D for nothing, and Trinity's powers, in addition to how absolutely brutal they let Mickey and the gang be beaten up, makes this one of the funniest things the mouse has ever been in. If you're feeling upset at Disney, which you definitely have good reason to be, watch this to see the mascot be brutalized worse than me when I frickin' get you. Oh, and we're just not gonna mention how Donald just actually murders Chernabog. No wonder he used Zeta Flare, this duck's OP. Also, Pete and the Beagle Boys are dragged to the Underworld. Pete will be led into heaven when they realize what a holy being he is. Beagle Boys will be tortured for all eternity. Dave the Barbarian is a pretty consistently funny show, even if it feels more like a Nick show than a Disney one. Still, it's got a lot of great jokes and episodes. If I had to pick one, I'm gonna choose Girlfriend. It's not like I can choose one some other way. Aww. Dave's favorite Mediocre Poets books is sold out, but it's because it's written by a girl whom he soon starts dating. But bummer, she's evil. It could be worse, Dave. She could say she always loves you, and definitely won't break up with me, or send a pipe bomb to my house. I probably dodged a bullet, actually. It really just writes itself. Dave's innocent, matched against the evilness of an evil princess. They break up, and now, chaos. The girlfriend and her mother are voiced by Melissa Rivers and her mom, Joan Rivers, who you might know from Shrek 2. It's also got the one reason people even know about the show, so that's a plus.
Bring a squirrel and a megaphone.
So for the first time on one of these lists, we're gonna have something that's on the top 30 that's not on the top 35. Mind-blowing. I already like Emperor's New School. It's a pretty fun show that retains a lot of the fun from the film, but I feel like it reuses a lot of the old jokes from the film, and it's at its best when they're doing something new. And when it comes to the show at its best, Yzmopolis definitely does that. Couldn't come as a surprise to anyone that the best part of the show is Yzma and Kronk. I mean, they're near universally the two most beloved animated film characters of all time, so it makes sense to give them a full episode. Kuzco is his awful self, Yzma tricks him into wishing he was an emperor, and now, well, you can guess from the name what happens now. This is the second time a tall, lanky joke villain from a Disney show turns their town into a purple wasteland in their own image. I wish there was a way that I could address how weird it is that this happened twice. Yzma finally gets a song after getting cut from getting one in the movie. And while not as good, it's still pretty catchy. Basically, Yzma is doing what Kuzco is doing in the movie, and he needs to stop it. I love stories that show alternate fricked out realms, and I mean, it's Yzma ruling the world. That's gold. If you're curious about what Kronk is doing though, he's now the principal. This is actually the second time Patrick Warburton voiced the principal in a Disney show. Don't fricking make me. Two nickel.
Yzmopolis.
First episodes are really important. No, duh. But if you don't properly set up the tone of your show, well, only one chance to make a good first impression, you know. I think Filmer's first episode, Tomorrow Stall, does a pretty good job of setting the show up. It's also a great showcase on why the show didn't do very well, all about parodying old detective shows that kids have literally no idea exist. Still, as a mature and reasonable adult, I should make a video why Uncle Grandpa symbolizes communism. I can understand why this is so epic. There's also a Silence of the Lamb parodies, because again, kids love that stuff. However, after a bathroom stall gets graffitied, the crew needs to find out the culprit, using the informant Randall Julian, a former artist who was detained and was put into 24/7 detention after vandalizing a different stall. Jesus Christ, and I thought my school was harsh. Honestly, sometimes you just need an episode to punch you in the face and tell you this show is going to be great. Most Fillmore episodes are great, but I feel like the mystery here especially stands out. And this kids show really messed with my complex adult brain. A lot comes from their informant Randall Julian. I mean, come on, it's my two favorite things, combined at last. He's a genuine mastermind. This motherfricker went from an out prodigy to master vandal by plotting his way out of jail. Also, listen to his voice. Sound familiar?
You're stainless, right? From right to left.
Where's the door hole?
I'm telling you, Paul Dano Riddler wishes he was Randall Julian Fillmore 2022.
Know where I can get my hands on some macaroni, do you?
One character is really all you need to make a truly special episode. Motor City is a really underrated show, but it just needs something that helps it go absolutely insane. And for that, we got the Duke of Detroit. After the crew get cut off on their way back to their base, Mike, Chuck, and Julie end up in a really high-end part of the city. That's where they meet the Duke of Detroit, the actual coolest motherfucker to exist. Now, he's actually a recurring character, but his first appearance is definitely his best. After refusing his request to submit, the Duke sends some of his goons after the gang, getting us one of the best fight scenes in the show. And later, he himself pulls out a tank that shoots limos! The best way to describe the Duke is imagine if Jeff Goldblum and Thor Ragnarok could speak coherently. The Duke is absolutely insane and moves like, I don't know, something really funny and cool. I have godlike powers. I don't have godlike intelligence. I need an update for that. It's not just the Duke. This is a great episode for Mike as well, as he really shows how great of a leader he is.
You know, someone once told me...
Mike. I can call you Mike, right?
The Little Mermaid show is a kind of weird idea for a show. I mean, Little Mermaid. That's an assured moneymaker. It's a jab at a live-action film here. But this show is actually a prequel, which means things like Triton and Ariel's rocky relationship must still be present. It also means you can't have Ursula, as she didn't meet Ariel until the film. So anyways, the best episode is the one with Ursula. You may be wondering how they got away with that. Keep wondering, pal, because it's never explained. But come on, Ursula is iconic for a reason. Absolute girl boss this octopus woman is. She discovers a bad luck creature. That's the species' official name, by the way. Listen, if they put all their energy into making Ursula so based that their clearance reserves ran low. Again, it's like how I can do this, but at full power, I can do this. Now, Ariel needs to set up a celebration for Triton while also fighting Ursula and protecting the creature. Like the last episode, this is one carried by one character, that of course being Ursula, as she's as charismatic and terrifying as she was in the film. She even gets a new song. While the first part is just okay, the reprise is great, slow and chilling with some of the best visuals in the show. Also, I mentioned this in the top 35, but this is still a fun note, in the show, Ursula is abusive to the eels, but in the film, she's loving to them. Since this is a prequel, she grows fondness for them, which is so wholesome. Ignore that she murders them. And with Miracle of Birth, and you've got a great episode under the sea. The Ursula fish are horrific though, and look like those freaky Joker fish. There's gonna be some recurring themes from my last episode list I've noticed. We're gonna get to some later, like Christmas and some musical episodes, but for now, let's look at the weirdest one. Frogs. Isn't the show you think it is. Pepper Ann does a pretty good job at being a standard slice of life show, but talking about things that are ever so slightly more risque than normal. Not too far, but like, this is a show that had the main character flash their chest to people, so you know, maybe yeah, too far, Rowdy Man. But the one that hit me is Carmelo. I started with Pepper finding a cure for dorkiness. Finally, we can get people to stop thinking Mario is a jerk. But the episode really starts with Pepper in school getting an assignment by the good old frog dissection. So if you don't know me, I kinda love frogs. They're my favorite animal after chameleons, so I avoid frog dissection at my school like the plague. Pepper though, in her attempt to become the second best science person in the world, decides not only to do frog dissection, but bring a frog home. She only does it to get more information on him, but she makes a rookie mistake of naming it Carmelo. As Monsters Inc. has taught me, once you name it, you get attached to it. So yeah, Pepper ends up getting too distracted to Carmelo to dice him. But here's when the episode gets really clever. Instead of opting out, she takes the computer version of the dissection and uses that ace test. This feels like it was really smart to work around without going too silly or melodramatic. Or should I say car melodramatic? Yeah, bye, peace. One the Scooby-Doo! The show is also smart enough to never show any frogs besides Carmelo, so we won't get too broken up. This is a surprisingly helpful episode for me as someone who always hated this part of school. Still, as great as this episode is, I think Elliot's plan is much better.
Marco!
Randy Cunningham is a really great show, even if I probably ranked it too high on my top 35. But either way, it's got a lot of good episodes. I don't know how popular it is, but my favorite episode was Julian's birthday surprise. I really like Julian. He's my favorite character in the show. And him getting attention is enough to make this my favorite. Like how I chose Son of Nurgle for my Billy and Mandy episode. I just like quirky social outcast goth boys, I guess. So Randy and Howard go to Julian's birthday, and Randy brings the evil magic sorcerer ball of evil to watch over. We actually get the sorcerer's backstory here, where the ball's magic possessed the innocent peddler to turn him evil. That's kind of weird for him to reveal in an episode like this. I wonder why, and Julian has the ball. Oh no. So yes, Julian's kind of a little poo-poo now, and we get a great brief fight scene with tentacles and electricity. It's just a normal Tuesday, really. Don't question it. And this is the start of Ghoulian, this season's big bad. An episode that sets up the rest of the show and finally gives an underutilized character some attention. You'll love to see it.
So I'm gonna smoke bomb.
Tron Uprising was another really hard show to pick for. Even though every episode is only 22 minutes, I kind of view it more as a movie than a show. They all belong together. So this was hard, but I guess I'll go with tagged. A masked gang, known only as Renegades, have been tagging places with the message Tron lives. Beck invites them to join him, only to find out they're led by Mira, a friend of his who he previously saved. Still, he's determined to lead the group on a mission to take down the bad guy. Two of the Renegades go against the plan to do their own thing. Now Beck has to rescue them and also complete the mission. I really can't pin down why this is my favorite of a consistently great show. It's got everything that's great about the show. The intense rebel story the show's great at. Fast-paced action. Enough humor to not make it too dark, but at the right time, and not so much it gets irritating. This is a jab at Marvel. And of course, Pavel. He's his old psychotic self. It's the episode that truly signals how great of a hero Beck is, how merciless Kester and Pavel are, and how much they want one of those flying horseshoe things. We all know a finale can ruin a show. I may or may not talk about a really good example of that later on in this list. But is there a finale that can take a pretty good show to an amazing one? Well, there's probably a lot, but there's one that stands out to me. Penn Zero is a show that excels in its creativity. Almost every episode has a new location designed for the main cast. It's truly a spectacle. But I think a show this creative really needs to just go absolutely insane. Just take everything that they set up and execute them all. And At the End of the World certainly does that. Both Penn and Ripon have finally had enough of their constant mistakes. Penn for being unable to rescue his parents, and Ripon for, well, being a villain in a kid show. Penn goes straight to the source, the world where his parents are stuck in. And Ripon decides to stop freaking around, summoning every single villain from the show just to finally kill the main characters. But that's not all. Almost all the heroes from the show come back too. Endgame freaking wishes it was this hype. Also, shout out to this episode for just having every single guest ever. Returning ones like Sigourney Weaver, Anna West, and Paul Rubens, rest in peace. Even some new ones like Mark Hamill and James Hong. I can't stress how hype this is for anyone who's a fan of the show. But it's not just fan service. We get so many great reveals in this episode. Ripon was the one who stranded Penn's parents. We found out Phil and Phyllis are basically gods. Penn and Sasha get together. And also, like all good finales, we get a Where Are They Now across the multiverse, which, I don't know. Seeing this just makes me so happy. It says a lot that this isn't even the top 20. This is just pure goodness in episode form. I don't care if I just spoiled everything. Watch the show, it's so underrated.
Greatest gift one person could give another. If you stayed here, and I never saw you again.
So, ever heard of cheating? So both Out of House and Home Is Where the Haunt Is are separate episodes of The Ghost of Molly McGee, but they do tell one combined story, and are together, so I'll count it. And if you don't count it, frick off. So Molly's dad gets ratioed hard, and they don't have enough money to pay his hospital bill. This forces them to scrounge up enough money, leading to the song, which is probably my favorite song in the entire show. I will always love upbeat songs that have people getting absolutely wombo comboed in the background. Also, Scratch is forced to become a mom. That's amazing. But hey, everything works out. They set Audrey 2's plan into motion, you get enough money, and... oh. Yeah, there were $2,000 on the bill to pay the mortgage, and now their house is sold. They've got two problems. They're homeless, and a house realtor named Candace Green is trying to sell their house. We get another sign of how Molly's life is in shambles, but she hides it with meaningless activities. This is no longer a fun video. While the first half is really funny, the second half is super heartwarming, with every person Molly has helped throughout the show getting enough money for them to get their house back. Add in the completion of Scratch's arc of befriending Molly, and you've got a haunting good time.
What a perfect little house. This is so much fun.
Probably 90% of the celebrities, because I love cheating. Yeah, another double episode. Actually, baby, it's triple. Big Hero 6's Countdown to Catastrophe. It's simple. The evil Obake is attempting to blow up the city. That's illegal. Frick you! So Hero and the gang are trying to stop him. I say it's simple, but there's more twists than a pretzel here. I mean, pretzels only have like 3 twists, but my point stands! How does it have legs? Obake suddenly goes from despicable to heart-wrenching in a matter of minutes when they finally reveal his backstory. Glad he reforms, well, there's a lot since he's made out of goo, but reforms in a no longer evil way. While this is mostly a Hero, Baymax, and Obake episode, every recurring character gets at least one moment in the spotlight. There's a lot of that trademark, oh frick, I'm sad now moments, special notes to Obake's self-sacrificial death. Overall, this honestly feels like a movie less than an episode. And heck, a tragic villain who is wronged by someone who saw as a morally ambiguous mentor who attempts to destroy the city just to get closure. This is just kind of the movie, just done better. Don't reference it, 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 don't reference it. Steak!
For learning and research. I can't wait to see what you'll accomplish.
Wow, I guess every show here is consistent in quality. Since Gargoyles was another one I just couldn't pick. In the end though, well, you can argue any episode can take the spot. Beauty is, as they say, in the eye of the beholder. You see, that's the episode title. It's a Halloween episode. So how can you make an already gothic cartoon darker? Simple. Furries. The Gargoyles are excited that it's Halloween, since that means they can finally walk around freely, because it's just super common to see 7-foot tall costumes with working rings and moving mouths. Party City practically has those on clearance daily. Their plan, though, is cut short thanks to a werewolf that's incited, who's actually Fox, fiancé of the main villain Xanatos. This wasn't his intention, so he teams up with Goliath to stop it. From the fights between Fox and the crew being surprisingly brutal, to a better Beauty and the Beast in the remake, this is a constant thrill ride. Also notable that this wasn't a plan for Xanatos. He genuinely messed up by turning Fox into a werewolf. And if you don't know, Xanatos messing up is not a common sight. Also, Fox is naked at one point. Something here for every sicko.
They should have Halloween more often.
Yeah.
House of Mouse is so special thanks to its bevy of crossovers. But looking back, the crossovers aren't as frequent as you'd expect, usually sticking to the Mickey crew and one random film character. We need something to just go absolutely insane with this possibility, and Halloween with Hades definitely delivers. Huh, 2 Halloween episodes in a row. Not planned, that's cool. This is a fanfiction brought to life. Nothing screams fanfic when shipping, and this has, of all things, Hades and Maleficent. However, Maleficent is too much of a girl boss to fall for him, so he's got to listen to Mickey's advice to be nice. That leads to this. This will appear in both my nightmares and my wet dreams. It's all you want from a crossover like this. Insane, creative, funny, just in character enough, but with some deviations so it's still fun. The shorts are fun too, some of the stronger ones. The second in particular is one of my favorites of the Mouse Work shorts. I love the creepy atmosphere, goofy shenanigans, and Donald's nephew's torturing him and thinking they killed them. Hades' literal godly riz gets him the girl though. Maybe I'll get a girlfriend too if I set myself on fire. Ah! Also, Captain Hook is canonically dead.
I'm gonna show you a whole new underworld.
Promises, promises.
Like Pokemon episodes, I feel like your favorite Lilo and Stitch episode would be whatever has your favorite experiment in it. For me, that comes in the first ever episode, Richter. It's like most episodes. An experiment is unleashed, Lilo and Stitch have to get it before Gantu does, and find a special place for him. But I don't know, this episode just makes me happy. Childhood memories, perhaps, but I just love everything about it. From Pleakley's freak out at the start, Gantu's evolving love of sandwiches, and of course, every single thing Richter does. I can't explain it, but everything he does just makes me happy. I love his design and how surprisingly flexible it is. He's probably the most emotive experiment in the whole show. Not only that, they actually have a bit of a ticking clock. The island is literally falling apart thanks to earthquakes. It will fall apart if Richter doesn't counter it. Of course, they eventually find him and give him his perfect new home, making milkshakes. I was gonna do a bit where I went to McDonald's dressed like this and asked for a milkshake, but then I realized that if I drink a milkshake, it would probably mess up the face paint. So just imagine that I'm like drinking a milkshake right now, and it's really funny and epic.
Thanks, Richter. You rock.
Recess is another series with so many bangers, I really had problems picking one over the others. But as I said, I need a Christmas episode, so here's Yes, Mikey, Santa does shave. The episode starts off with both children going insane over the lack of snow, and the reveal that Mikey still believes in Santa. Mikey tries to audition for a school play as Santa, and talks to Santa, and is Santa. The crushing realization comes in, and Mikey gets the depression arc, until he meets James Earl Jones. You already know why he's here. It's a kind of standard Christmas episode, but a really enjoyable one. Just hits all the bases. Good music, pretty visuals, the meaning of believing, Randall. Yeah, this was a pretty close match, but nothing will ever make me happier than seeing everyone run out into the snow. Besides, of course, the next 14. And the fall of the US government.
But that means, yeah, Santa shaved.
Star vs. Storm the Castle came out the same day as Gravity Falls' roadside attraction. This was the only time Star has ever gotten to win over Gravity Falls. It's what the first season was building up to. Toffee finally puts his plan into motion and kidnaps Marco, and will only give him up if Star gives him the wand. So now, she's gotta do what the title is. In this corner, we have a hyper-intelligent, powerful lizard man with an army of monsters. In the other, we have a hyperactive girl with one brain cell, Daddy Frogman, and, well, Ludo. The ultimate team. Even with this ridiculous animation of him flying backwards, this really shows off why Toffee is such a great villain. He's cold, conniving, but always has this air of coolness, affability, and even like he's knowing everything that's gonna happen, as he smiles when the castle explodes. Him facing forward will always look weird to me though. This is the perfect episode for Star vs. You got the humor, you got the action, and it reminded me why I grew attached to these characters. This is a celebration video, and I've already made the genocide joke 50 times. You'll be scared this time, Star.
Surprise!
Season 2 of American Dragon is divisive. There was a change in animation style, which, while it does look pretty good for most characters, for characters it doesn't look good for, yeah. With that said, when it comes to storied episodes, this is a massive improvement. Hardcore focusing on expanding everything and explaining things that weren't clear. This is best shown in Homecoming. Spider-Man joke. The biggest problem with Season 1 is the Huntsman. We really don't know what his deal is. He was just kind of evil because we needed a villain. Season 2 fleshes him out more, making it very clear that he wishes to exterminate all magical creatures, and he's finally found something that can make his dream a reality. The worst Indiana Jones film. The problem though is that it's Homecoming, and Jake and Rose are chosen as Homecoming King and Queen. If you love the comedy side of the show, you have the fun hijinks with Spud, Trixie, and Foo Dog. If you love the relationship between Rose and Jake, that's the main crux of this episode. If you love the action, there's a lot of great action scenes. It's everything you love from the show. Plus, well, not the finale, it's the emotional climax of the show. Getting Jake and Rose together before Rose has to sacrifice herself for the greater good. The one problem is that when Rose wishes all the Hunts clan away, the Hunts boy voiced by Kyle Massey finds a way to not get erased. You should have been more specific there, Rose.
Stacy won't know it's me on account of it'll be dark and I'll be talking like this.
Say it with me. Kim Possible holds the secrets to why CIA assassinated JFK. It's also got a lot of great episodes. I really struggled with what to pick from it, but I decided to go with a fan favorite, Go Team Go. A new villain, Aviaris, has started harassing the town. He's voice over to Stephen Horvitz, so he's immediately funny. And Kim ends up getting help from the new team of heroes. They get their powers stolen by Aviaris, and Kim has to stop them and get help from the sister of the team, Shigo. I always love when Shigo joins the good guys, but unlike most times, it's her normal self and she isn't brainwashed. And her snarky behavior clashes so well against the stereotypical grand way the rest of the team speaks. Teamwork takes down Aviaris after getting another great battle scene, which I really wish I'd explain in more detail, so I just don't always say the fight seemed good, and you'd think that would be where it ends. But when you got Shigo and a staff of magic, you're putting those two in a blender. This gives us the great scene of Shigo using all her powers with her Smash recolors. But in the end, good prevails. Oh, and also Shigo tries to kill Doc in Epic. Just an extremely fun episode that brings so much to Ron, Kim, and Shigo. Oh, and Shigo changes size. You're telling me this is the fan favorite episode? I just never would have guessed. Big City Greens is in a weird place in the Disney lineup. It's one of the few pure comedies in Disney right now, and doesn't have the same popularity as most other shows, at least on the internet. I went over it in a different video. Still, even as a pure comedy, it does occasionally have some arcs, best shown in Chipocalypse Now. After the previous episode, which boasts the greatest name in cartoon history, which has Chip take over the coffee shop Cricket works at, Chip then builds a grocery store around the Greens' house, and plans to destroy their house in a full day. While still a very comedic episode, this holds a surprisingly intense one, as it races on to save the house and stop him. Even some of the side characters like Gloria and Remy get some attention. Special attention has to go with Chip. Throughout the whole show, even the previous episode, he's mostly been a joke villain who always come up with a scheme to prank the Greens and ends with his truth broken. Here though, he threw away all his comedic traits and fully became a threat. He's as bad as you'd expect from orange-skinned businessman with blonde hair who's obsessed with his appearance. Yes, the show did come out late 2010s, why do you ask? Also, Gloria joins the family, that's W, she's the best character.
Send in the writers!
Tangled of the series is an extremely great show, one that I really should have put higher in my ranking. As for my favorite episode, that again was hard. There's a lot of great ones, just barely though. I went with Secret of the Sun Drop. It's Rapunzel's birthday, but she's a bit on edge after finding out that her dad has been lying to her and Varian has sworn revenge on the kingdom after the apparent death of his father. Things get worse when she feels like Cass is being sent away. And there's a giant robot.
Hey, TikTok!
No, I won't make the obvious joke. The first song, Set Yourself Free, is probably the most underrated song in the show. It's a great empowerment song. I like the callbacks and a reminder that Rapunzel is a painter. After a great breakout scene, Varian puts his plan into action by giving the queen the Willem Dafoe special. And that leads to the second song, Ready As I'll Ever Be. If you're even vaguely aware of this show, it's because of this song. There's a ton of covers, animatics, and so much more. This song easily overshadows the show itself, and it's honestly worth the hype. Every character gets a spotlight. It's catchy. It's one of the most dynamically shot scenes in the show. It's great. Also, I love Varian. He's one of my favorite characters in fiction, and while it's mostly from being a silly little guy, I also love the times he turns serious. And this is one of those times, turning from his normal self to a cold, calculating, and extremely dangerous threat. While I do love that he joins the good guys in later episodes, this was a great use for him. Add in the resolution of the Black Rocks, and we've got an episode I'm more than ready for.
Ready as I'll ever be.
All the fun of Aladdin the series comes from its new characters. Yeah, the old ones are classics, but from Goofballs and Mechanicles to the surprisingly effective Mosenrath, they've got some memorable characters. But the standout is one that sadly only got one appearance. When Chaos Comes Calling has Mirage, another great original character, calling Chaos, the embodiment of chaos itself, to help take Agrabah down. Mirage tricks Chaos into ruining the town, which leads to a lot of fun visuals, most notably giving Iago the face of his voice actor, Gilbert Godfrey. Listen, sometimes it's fun to see the main characters get yeeted on for a while. From Shrieking Jasmine to making evil versions of Aladdin and Genie, the only thing to expect with Chaos is that you never know what to expect. But then there's a whole twist. Chaos was never on Mirage's side, only trying to trick her to come out and do the most unexpected thing he can think of, saving the town. I can definitely admire Trickster, as you can tell. If you don't believe me, check under your chair. There's a pipe bomb.
Because if you ever get boring, I'll be back.
The Buzz Lightyear show is such an important part of my childhood, and I'm so glad it still holds up. It's honestly better than I remember. And when it comes to the best episode, I know kid me would never forgive adult me if I picked anything that wasn't Nuz 4A2. It's got everything great about the show. The start of the episode alone nails it a spot. It's got the quick-paced action and just cartoony fun you expect from it, along with some legitimately clever banter between the characters. But Buzz gets the box the villains were defending, only for it to be revealed that was Zurg's plan, unleashing a powerful robot upon the base, Nuz 4A2. A character I was obsessed with as a kid, and the reason I love this episode as an adult. He's one of the few characters actually taken seriously in the show, but a genuinely imposing villain that matches his charm and suave personality with a ruthless and brutal plan to destroy the Rangers. But also, this is an episode with zombie suits, so they still keep the Saturday morning cartoon vibe. And with a little moment for XR, and there's a reason this lived rent-free in my brain for decades.
Care to make it a threesome? She's an assassin and a hostage, all rolled into one.
It genuinely hurts to not put a Phineas and Ferb episode in the top 5. This show means so much to me, and I could genuinely argue a whole bunch of episodes to be my favorite. But for a whole bunch of reasons, I'm going with Meepus in Seattle. A sequel to the original Meep episode, it has Mitch come back and try a new plan to kill Meep, becoming so cute no one will ever try to stop him. On the other side, Doof and Perry are having a normal fight, but Doof ends up becoming the cutest thing ever. So Mitch kidnaps him. So we have Meep and the gang after Mitch, and Perry and Peter trying to rescue Doof. Listen, I don't gotta tell you, Phineas and Ferb is one of the most clever shows in animation. We got one of the saddest deaths of all time. Oh, we also got one of the biggest Finabella moments in the series. That was huge for kids me. The song, Wee Wee Wee, is fun enough. It's cute, and I like the contrast of its brutal war song and the happiness of it. But this also gets us the best song in the show.
Mitch, what some people call him Big Mitch.
And the second best song in the show.
Peter and Perry!
And the third best song in the show.
I'm
I'm just a guy who's a sucker for the sounds of mass transit.
And the Looney survives! Okay, this is a great episode. But is it really the best one? Well, on its own, probably not. But what shoots it here is a bit complicated. The episode was teased in the first Meep episode 3 years before this one. Immediately after, it was confirmed this was just a joke, and we never get this episode. But as a kid, I always remember checking the Phasma Fur wiki every day, hoping one day it will come true. People kept putting fake listings for it, but it never came. Until one day, I checked it, and there it was. I assumed this was just another fake, but no, it was confirmed at a con, and I don't know. I just felt so vindicated after all these years. A moment I'll never forget, for an episode I'll never forget. They're bringing the show back. We can finally get Meet Me in St. Louis. Don't disappoint me, you guys.
What kind of a world are we living in where a guy can't down the contents of a mysterious urn found in a trench?
When it comes to season finales, while they're usually great, they do tend to pale in comparison to the series finales. But while I love the DuckTales finale, nothing will ever compare to how hyped season 2's finale is. Moon Invasion is all you ever could want. DuckTales has more characters than I have skin particles, but somehow, they managed to give everyone at least one moment. Darkwing finally getting his moment to prove he's a hero. Scrooge doing the pogo move from the games, which literally made me squeak. The long-awaited reunion of Donald and Della. Donald with a Mickey melon, which, fun fact, was done as a workaround. Since they weren't allowed to use Mickey himself in the show, they were still able to use Mickey's voice actor since he voices Darkwing. Also, there's Tamatoa. Like, I genuinely can't even fit in all the great scenes here. From the funny to the emotional, they've got it all. And I gotta mention Lunaris. Starting off as a fairly goofy villain, who is still capable of undoing all of Earth's defenses so he can make the Earth revolve around the moon, but quickly showing the monster he is by giving up all pretenses that he cares about his people and attempting to crash a ship into Earth to destroy it and his people. And just when you think they possibly can't get even more hype, they reveal that the Vultures working for Scrooge are freaking foul agents from Darkwing Duck, and the overarching villain of the whole show. And another Disney fan squee moment from the Phantom Block. This is truly an adventure that's out of this world. I am genuinely sorry.
Is that shark wearing a parka?
I call it a sharka.
Okay, speaking of Darkwing Duck, it's got yet another great batch of episodes. This was actually an easy pick for me. Time and Punishment starts as a normal episode. Darkwing is worried about Gosling being in danger during his crime fighting as usual, but she disobeys his orders to stay in the car. Hijacking Megavolt, my beloved, and Crackerjack, he exists, time machine. That sends her and the villains to the future, where without Gosling to ground him, Darkwing had become Dark Warrior, a psycho-hypercritical ruler of the city who kills criminals and even sentences people to the electric chair for the most minor of offenses. And we find out the time machine, he intends to use it to forever stop crime. But he still loves Gosling, and will never pull out a rocket launcher against her. Oh my god! Yeah, folks, the main character of a Disney show just pulled out a gun on his own adoptive daughter. It's a dark episode of the show, but still has the balance of comedy and even heart you'd want from it. And he just couldn't go shooting his own daughter in the face. It's quite epic.
Dad, I can't move.
Okay, so it needs a little tailoring, so sue me.
I really hate going with the universally loved episode, especially when a show's already this overlooked, but I just can't help it. My Fair Haiti really is Wander's best. I said we were going to get a musical episode, and you probably predicted it was going to be this. Hater gets a meal from Dominator, and he thinks it's a date. They ask Wander to help him. In the background, Sylvie and Peepers are attempting to sabotage her ship to stop her reign. We've seen these pairs before, but they're usually against the wills of basically everyone that isn't Wander. I won't go over every song here, but they're all very fun and catchy. Special mention goes to the self-titled song. I always love seeing Wander trying to cheer someone up. Plus it's a nice, relaxing one after the previous song, which I do kind of have to acknowledge. I'm the bad guy. I said Tangled is best known for Ready as Ever Be. This show is only known for Lord Dominator and this song. It's almost exclusively for horny posting. They know what they did with, like, half the shots in the song. I'm kind of annoyed that it's literally the only attention this Drake show gets, and I guess they want to be contrarian and say the song doesn't slap, but I can't. It's unbelievably catchy. It's funny. The music is great at portraying Dominator's true sinister motive, which is finally revealed in this episode to be to destroy the entire galaxy just for fun. And of course, that she doesn't care or need any sort of romance. While I do wish the show got more attention, if all love has to be kept into one episode, this certainly isn't a bad pick.
See, I find this business rather fun.
The top three are exactly what you think they're going to be. I'm not even going to try to hide it. For the final time, Gravity Falls was a really hard one to pick from. So many episodes hold this extremely special place in my heart, more so than even some episodes on this list. But if I had to pick one, I'll instead pick 3. Yes, it's a cop-out to go with Bridmageddon, but I frankly don't care. Across 3 episodes, we have 3 distinct yet extremely important parts. 1 sets up what exactly Wyrmrigern is and what Bill is doing. 2 is about the emotional reconciliation between Dipper and Mabel that all the Mabel haters seem to have skipped. And part 3 is about the fight to take back the Falls. Yes, Disney Plus splits part 3 into 2. That's stupid. I watched this when it was out. It was marketed as 1. Don't believe their lies! I watched this show for pretty much its whole run, and it felt so cathartic to finally see everything come together. Out of every episode on this list, it's probably the most talked about one, so I don't have much to add, but God, there's so many great moments. The start of Wyrmrigern being horrific and hilarious. Forge's discussion with Bill. The different styles everyone becomes from the bubbles. Dippy Fresh. How much better the episode would have been if Dipper actually murdered Dippy Fresh. Dipper and Mabel finally seeing eye to eye. Gideon joining everyone. Bill fighting the mech. That freaking circle that appears in every single episode of the show, and has spawned more fan theories than the entirety of FNAF, that they use to try and banish Bill, that literally does nothing, and this feels like a waste of time, but I feel like there's an intentional troll, so you know what? Fair. And of course, the death of Bill and Stan's sacrifice. Yes, I agree, there should have been a bit more time between Stan losing and regaining his memories, but you know, it gave him a good ending finally, so you know, I'll take it. And I cannot mention famous Simpsons character Bill Cipher. He's funny, but he's also unbelievably brutal here. Bill was always my favorite character in this show since I first saw him, but this just solidified it. A phenomenal ending to a phenomenal show.
Oh, I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
This episode has some intense final scenes. It might be scary for younger viewers.
You know it's getting serious when the funny pink frog tells you that. Oh, and also, Amphibia Season 2 is a massive improvement to the first season, and it's coming from someone who actually loved Season 1. Season 2 brings up so many new places and characters and questions that it really makes you question if they could bring it all together, but True Colors certainly does. I think the absolute best part of this episode is its pacing. Starting with giving us some hints about why the girls got sent here, don't think I miss Bill and Goliath. We then get to Sasha and Grime's betrayal. Even though this was clearly hinted at, it still stung so much. And I like that throughout the whole first half, while this is a more serious episode, they still do keep up the humor, which is generally overlooked by a lot of the fandom. Then we get the next big gut punch. Andreas was evil the whole time. Granted, we knew there was something sussy among us with him, but the whole universal conquer thing, yeah, that's not fun. Andreas himself, though, is. His personality from the old episodes is still kept intact. He's still a big jokester even after the reveal, and they do a great job at making him feel intimidating and powerful with animation, even if I feel like they changed his size a lot. While the main focus is on the girls, I love that everyone gets a major point, like Hop Pop and his acting thing, or Polly getting legs. But of course, there's Gut Punch 3, Marcy's betrayal, and the reveal that she's the reason they were sent to Amphibia. I love Marcy, y'all know I love Marcy, and I think this is the reason this stings so badly, because I can honestly relate so much to her here, especially when she thinks that she did something good only for everyone to abandon her. God, she deserves a hug. After a great fight scene, Brick gets dropped out a window, and we get the flashback Anne has of all their best moments. Every time I see this, I burst into tears. Even freaking reading this, I'm kind of tearing up. That kicks Anne to her Super Saiyan form. That's not its official name, but it's funny, so I'm keeping it. And sweet Jesus, the animation here, it's so fluid, it's so beautiful, it's so perfect. This is basically a perfect episode. But I can't end it without mentioning arguably the most iconic moment of the show. They put this trigger warning in the beginning for something, and here we are. At the end, Marcy is trying her hardest to get Anne home safely. Then Andreas decides to help Marcy out with her back pain. I knew this was coming. I had spoiled on this. My jaw still dropped when I got to it. You don't just impale a child on a kid's show. It's funny. It's emotional. It answers so many questions while opening up so many more. It's clear that the true colors here are blue. Because I am crying. Last episode list, I gave 5 honorable mentions. I'm going to do the same here. This is 31 to 35. Perchance to Sleepwalk from Milo Murphy's Law. The idea of Milo sleepwalking, unintentionally causing chaos, is hilarious, and has probably my favorite song in the show. 101 Dalmatians the series is making of. A really fun fake behind the scenes documentary, alongside a ton of fun references. Don't Leave Home Without It from Proud Family. Penny's side is a good delivery of an important moral of saving money, and Oscar's side is funny. I'm drained, guys, this is my biggest script. In Search of Ancient Blunders from Tailspin. It has a great sky battle, a ton of different obstacles, and darn carnage, my beloved. Finally, From Air to Eternity from Goof Troop. Pete and PJ have a fear of heights, and Max tries to get them both to admit it and overcome their fears. And Goofy appears for like a minute, which is genuinely more screen time than he gets for most episodes. And Pete makes this noise. Oh, and also, super special bonus mention to a whole bunch of episodes from Super Monkey Robot Team Hyperforce Go, which would have been on here, but after I made the top 35, I found out it's not actually done by Disney TV Animation, so frick me, I guess here's number 1.
For Joe's sake, no one else is allowed to join our party.
My costume did nothing to help deter you from number 1 was. You already knew what it was. Owl House Season 2 feels so different from the first. From the generally darker feel to the focus more on lore and story, to new characters and it just feels so different. But while I loved Season 1, 2 is near perfect. Every episode feels like it adds something. And I don't even know why I'm still going on. You know it's not knocking on Hootie's door. After 7 episodes of a whole hecking bunch of story, a Hootie episode feels like a nice little fluff episode to calm things down. We were fools. After talking with Lilith and wanting to feel more useful, Hootie decides to help Luz, Ida, and King with their problems. This episode is only the standard 22 minutes, but they cram so much into it. This isn't just a Hootie episode. If you like any of the other main 3 characters, there's time for all of them to shine. From King's fun shenanigans that drive into his insecurities and reveal he's got new power, Ida's dramatic backstory that ends with her finally accepting herself and getting a new form.
Oh girl, this is a hot look.
I have to agree. And when I agree, that's when you know you're looking good, girl. Oh, and also, hey, I'm here. Well, why do I have a moon for a face? But of course, the whole reason that this is the most popular episode, Lumity, is real. Yeah, there's nothing new I can add to this. All of Amity's facial expressions are just so precious. Luz's awkwardness here is just Freddy Fazbear and Friends. Oh god, I love this episode. Yeah, Lumity is what gets all the love, but this is overall a perfect episode. It's a sign from the creators that the show is glad you're here and both rewards you and leaves you wanting more. Hootie was kind of controversial for this episode, but here, he's so funny and lovable, and it's just so nice to see both more of his friendship with Lilith and how much he truly cares for everyone. I really love King. I love that he's really more than just a comic relief character. He's a full character with a ton of stuff going on in the background, and it's honestly the most underrated character in the whole show. Also, he dances and it's cute. Ida's just hits so hard. It's heartbreaking, and gives us confirmation that her and Rain were a thing. And of course, Heartbeat Ida is amazing. But I can't undersell Lumity. It's the first major same-sex relationship in a Disney show. Heck, unlike most same-sex pairs in cartoons, it's both between a main character and done early on instead of the final episode, making it easily the single best romance in Disney after whatever Buford and Nostalgia had going on. Which of course meant that right after this episode aired, it was announced Season 3 was shortened. Now this isn't the reason it was shortened. It was confirmed that it was because the show was darker and demonic nature that doesn't fit for the brand. That makes sense. Anyways, Mephisto and Ironheart. Either way, if this was the episode that caused everything to go upside down, I'm glad we still got this trip to and from the Owl House. I do desperately want to be cynical with Disney. I want to talk about how soulless of a company they are, but while I do feel like that applies to a lot of their recent work, I'll always feel like the heart always shines through their shows. It's sad that this is the one part of the Disney empire they refuse to acknowledge, but also helps it feel like it's more its own thing, and the creators behind these shows can really do whatever they want. Disney will always mean a lot to me. Heck, Lilo and Stitch and Phineas and Ferb probably mean more to me than a good 90% of fiction. But even with some of their constant frick-ups, if we can get episodes like this, maybe we can go with 100 more years. Just give Pete his own film and we're good. Also just pay people. So, that was a big video. My throat hurts. I'm gonna blow up the multiverse now. It's kind of boring, actually. That's better.
Hey, you boys. Could me and my pals join you in a little game?